with all of you to keep it all together, keep it going, maybe refresh these seats and replace the air conditioners and keep that boiler running and all of that. And that's why I'm here running for council today.
Thanks, Christina. And now Jim Llewellyn, our next candidate.
I am accustomed to standing in front of churches. 25 years as a United Methodist minister, not only bringing the 20 to 30-minute message each Sunday. United Methodist ministers is they are the chief operating officer of every local United Methodist church. In other words, very involved in keeping the lights on, very involved in what kind of seating happens for the sanctuary gatherings, and frankly, keeping things going forward. So I've done some of the work that the council for our USCD is involved in, and I know very much how many hands it takes beyond a leadership body to carry out everything. Think of Family Promise, which is one of the activities of outreach that Karen and I got involved in early on, and you realize, yes, there's 2 or 3 or 4 people or 5 that take prominent roles that are very key in facilitating, but then it takes a whole board of people taking different pieces of the pie to make the whole thing happen. And that's the way it is with everything here, from what happens on Sunday mornings to the publicity and marketing that I'm looking forward to Thea helping us get going, get out there, because my take on unity, now as a member since 2017, is we've hid our light under a bushel. And that's why someone might ask the minister here to do their wedding and never have even heard anything about unity before, and not know anything about whether Jesus is even mentioned at Unity, etc. So we have outreach to do. I'm involved currently in Uniteens because of my shared feeling of commitment toward the younger folks getting steeped in, as I've seen some YOU gatherings up here before, steeped in a spirituality that is not the religion most dominant in the United States of America, okay? Rather than the religion about Jesus, the spirituality of Jesus. And I'm looking forward to serving. I'm very honored to be considered, and I see a bright future for us. In fact, I want to read some of my words that I submitted so that I get this correct. Times of upheaval and transformation contain great possibilities. I envision this century, 21st century, as ripe for unity in the United States and worldwide, to flourish, to blossom among great masses of people. And I believe unity is needed vitally going forward. We can be a guiding grace to all people. And I feel that mission and purpose with you. Thanks. Thank you, Marietta.
So we are blessed with our candidates. Per our bylaws, since there are 2 open positions on the council and 1 candidate for each position, Voting by secret ballot is not required. On behalf of the nominating committee, I move that we elect these candidates by acclamation.
Second.
Since this motion is being made by the body of more than one, no second is required, but thank you. I know, but I didn't know if you were coming up here.
Okay. Thank you, Marietta. As Marietta said, since the motion is being made by a body of more than two, no second is required. Registered voting members in the sanctuary, all in favor of electing Jim and Christina to a 3-year term, raise your hands, please. Look at that. You guys got a lot of support here. Thank you. All those that are holding a proxy willing to vote in favor of Jim and Christina for a 3-year term, raise your hand or proxies. All right, thank you. Looks like that was unanimous on all counts. So congratulations to both of you. Do we have any Zoom call people? We still have one online. Or one on the Zoom call?
We have nobody who has entered the name as a voting member.
Oh, okay. Well, if you are watching us and haven't signed in, welcome. Hang on here just a minute. Okay, at this point, I would like to ask for a volunteer who would be willing to serve on the nominating committee in preparation for the 2023 annual meeting. Would you raise your hand if you wish to volunteer? Wayne Roselle, you're on. All right. Motions require a second. So may I have a motion for Wayne Roselle to be our Travis Garvin? Thank you, sir. Is there any discussion? You have a question?
No, I'm the second.
That's been taken care of. Thank you, though, for confirming. Okay, would all voting members who wish to vote for Wayne Roselle to be our nominating committee person for the next annual meeting, raise your hand, please. Thank you. Proxies, voting in the same way? Thank you. Congratulations, Wayne. And now I'd like to ask for someone to serve as an alternate in the event that Wayne is not able to be with us and be a part of the nominating committee. Bill Turner, you raised your hand. Thank you. All those in favor of Bill Turner being our alternate for next year's annual meeting, raise your hand. This is going smoothly. Okay. And the proxy people, please do the same. Thank you very much. All right. That takes care of the voting on everything we need to vote for so far. Now, at this point, does anybody have any questions that you'd like to have answered at this time before we proceed with the remainder of the agenda? Okay. Trish, would you like to make any? No, you don't. Okay. Okay, then I would like to call on Nancy Smith, who is the treasurer of the council, to give the financial report and give us an update. Nancy?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's so great to see you. So I did want to give you an update on the financial status for 2021. I did want to let you know that I do not have the year-end financials yet. Jim Fairley, our accountant and longtime member, he and his wife have both had some medical issues, so there's a little delay in getting that, but we spoke to him the other day and he hopes to have them within the next 2 weeks. So what I wanted to do is give you the summary through November, and then talk about kind of what we do know about December, because we do have the preliminary reports. So you can see up there, 2021 has been a good year for us. Actually, through November, it was starting to be a little bit of a challenge. Our offerings were, you'll see there, 263,308. We were able to get the payroll protection program again in 2021, which I will tell you is not going to be available in 2022, but that was an additional $25,100 for us. Special events income is lower than most years, because you'll know at the beginning of 2021 we really weren't able to have very many in-person special events, but for the year through November it was 3,353. Class income, same thing, $1,931. And the space usage donation, a large part of that is because New Dawn does rent our space, so that was $5,267. Bookstore, again, we didn't have the bookstore open very many months in 2021, but we had $783 from that. And then the other income from various sources, $4,750. So our total revenue for the 11 months in 2021 was $304,492. The expenses, there you'll see our personnel, which includes insurance, staff development, etc., $189,969. Operation of the physical plant, kind of keeping the place open, $45,547. Equipment purchases, which is a little higher than normal, and I'll get into that, but $15,577. $18,070 for musicians. ISP and technology, and again, that's our live streaming service, which is higher than it has been in years past, but that was $20,618. Our committed giving, $10,330. Special events, the expenses with classes, special events was $6,120. Office administration, supplies, etc., $3,164. Bookstore, ordering the books, $1,623, and kind of the all other, $4,347. So you'll see our total expenses through the end of November was $315,565. So you can imagine kind of our concern at the end of November. Our year-to-date loss for this center was $11,073. And I think David had sent out a memo just letting the congregation know this is where we are. And I just have to give you all a great big thank you, because everybody stepped up and came forward, and several people gave generous year-end donations that was really above and beyond that kind of their normal general offering. So you know who you are. Two members gave a very large amount, but we received about $60,000 more over and above our normal general offerings. So what in November was a concern for us, our expected operating surplus, and I just say that because we may have to do some adjustments based on year-end financials, but this is a realistic figure, was $48,927. So, on behalf of the council and the staff and everyone, we thank you so much, because this actually is one of the best situations we've had for a long time, to be able to end the year that way. So again, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for your support of the Energy Expansion Fund And as you may know, that was really created at the beginning of 2022. And that's our fund to provide seed money for new initiatives that we're doing in 2022. So you'll be hearing more about that when I have the total figure on what we have and as we expend it. We don't expect that we would just say have the money to buy all new seats here, but maybe we can start. We'll have some money to get started, whether it's for paint or whatever. So we really appreciate the ongoing support that you've given us to the Energy Expansion Fund. And the last thing I wanted to let you know is that we are planning on completing some capital improvements this year. You may be aware that we had planned some for 2019. We wanted to replace 3 rooftop air conditioners and 2 boilers that heat areas other than the sanctuary. With the advent of COVID and loss of income from classes, special events, and the bookstore, the council felt it was important and fiscally responsible to use the money to meet operational needs as operational expenses as needed. We also did allocate money, though, to equipment, live streaming, in order that we could continue to have services during the pandemic and to keep that option open so we can reach as many people as possible. We do want to complete the needed capital improvements this year. The air conditioner and boilers are long past their life expectancy. And as you might imagine, prices have gone up considerably. So what once was expected to cost us about $7,000 a piece now is probably between $10,000 and $12,000 a piece. So we want to keep you informed, and we will keep you informed as plans finalized. But I just wanted to let you know that we do intend to get those capital improvements done in 2022 while we can. Clay. We did replace 1 boiler.
In 2017, one of the rooftop boilers.
We replaced 1 boiler that heated the sanctuary, so we have 2 others that heat areas other than the sanctuary.
Well, the rest doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. So, again, your support in keeping this building as a meeting place and the center helps us fulfill our mission and our vision of inspiring authentic connections with the divine self and others for spiritual growth, healing, and loving service in the world. Your support has been crucial, and we are so thankful to all of you. The balance sheet we passed out, or it's available if you need it. Again, the balance sheet was as of November, and at that point when we were 11,000 down, we were not in quite as good shape as we were November of 2020. But again, thanks to the generous contribution, and we can't thank the people that came forward in December. We believe our balance sheet is going to be in better shape for December 2021. All right, any questions? All right, I turn it back to Doug.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks.
Okay, next on our agenda, and by the way, there are copies available, and I think Shireen's passing them around. If you want a copy of the balance sheet, et cetera, raise your hand and Shireen will give you one. Okay, at this point, I would like to ask Trish first, if you will, to come up and give a report on the activities of the office administration, the welcoming team, and the care ministry, small groups, volunteer ministries, and all the other things you oversee.
Thank you. Can I use this mic? Thank you, Al. Oh, I know you said last time I got my fingerprints on everything, which I think was rude. Just kidding. I want to just pick up on what Nancy alluded to, and when you see that number up there, You know, we have just come through some really challenging, uncertain times. And I certainly didn't know for sure what the future of Unity Spiritual Center Denver held. And maybe you didn't either. So for those of you who have taken a stand with your financial contributions, it tells me a lot about the people that we are leading here today. And it also tells me a lot about the power of this message to endure in a world that is changing and hurting. And so I look forward to, I'll talk more about that, but I just appreciate and I echo your sentiments that we are very grateful and blessed by those of you in our community. And those of you who didn't perhaps give those large donations, give consistently what you can, and you show up and do what you can. And so it all adds up to making a huge difference. And so last year, of course, like the year before, was different. But I do want to just mention that the commitment of the staff, starting with Martha, the band, the soloists, Natalie supporting families and children online and in person, Jill managing the volunteers at the welcome desk and signing people in as we were doing that, and certainly the steadfast spiritual leadership of David Howard. I think all coming together to provide the best foundation possible for a difficult time for our community. So I'm grateful to serve in that capacity. I'm going to turn up the heat. Seems chilly. It seems chilly. And also your council. Your council has been tasked like never before in my tenure, which I just found out appallingly is 20 years. With big decisions about policy, about finances, about our spiritual truths, all of it. And each one of them brought their gifts, their talents, their time, their love. And so I want you to know that while we are looking at changes in leadership here, you are in good hands and have been in good hands, and I am grateful to serve alongside this current body of members on your council. So as we already mentioned last year, a big part of what we continued to do was improve our live stream capacity, moving into many things we offered virtually only, and then moving more and more into offering them in a hybrid way, which is really a modern call. We need to continue to do that so that more people can participate in what we have to offer here. In August, we did return in person for a new member class. Those had been held virtually before that, and we welcomed 11 new members, which I think is inspiring and positive. We also supported David in going on a sabbatical that had to be postponed from the year before while he held tight to guide us through that uncertainty, that period of uncertainty. The Women's Feminine Energy Retreat Group hosted yet again, they just don't learn, a garage sale, 2 garage sales as a fundraiser to support that retreat happening, which had also been postponed from 2020. It happened successfully at Sunrise Ranch in 2021. And from that came what is now being called the Red Tent Monthly Women's Circles as a response to the indication that those women and wanting to open it up to all want to stay connected more regularly and more consciously and purposefully here. So that continues to thrive. As you know, in September, we welcomed New Dawn to our building, which also afforded us another form of income, an in-stream of income, while we were using our space for spiritual purposes. So that seemed like a win-win. And later in 2021, we resumed our community and focus teams. Our spiritually motivated social engagement team met several times. Our Reimagining Our Space group met and will continue to meet once we steady out from these leadership changes. And our Growing Our Prosperity team met and have come up with some great ideas for moving forward in our prosperity. So things are moving back into activity. We also held 3 concerts, which was a bright light in many of your lives with Lauren Sheely, Sarah Rex, Jan and JD, and Bettman and Halpin. We were able in 2021 to uphold our financial commitment to Family Promise, which was, again, a testament to your support and your understanding that this ministry goes beyond our doors. And so you did that with your financial contributions to that program. We will not be renewing our commitment to host them in our facility in 2022 and are still in conversation about what, if any, financial commitment we will make. I do hope that we will find meaningful ways, if it's not that one, to again be a part of contributing to the greater community. And some things officially came to an end, at least for now. The Feed the Homeless ministry, which Becky Fairley began over 12 years ago from her own commitment and inspiration, and many of you who are here today were vital support volunteers in that program for many years. Yes. And I think, we can see what is next for the evolution of, again, how we reach out beyond our walls. But I thank you all who served on that team so committedly. Our prayer partner calling ministry made it through 2021 by the skin of its teeth, with fewer and fewer prayer partners in the program and other changes. So we're revisiting that, reconstructing a model for that can meet your needs with prayer, and also invite more of you into learning that process. Your talk this morning, your invitation from Myrtle this morning was perfect. How can we all learn to be praying from the awareness of the truth that we say we know? So I look forward to seeing how that evolves. I also want to mention that we endured significant losses in our community with the passing of Cindy Foote, George Bullen, and Polly Roberts, all of whom contributed richly over many years to our ministry in various ways. And as a longtime member of this community, I join you in grieving that, and grieving the physical presence of those who we lost. And also to acknowledge the worth and value that has gotten us to this point. All of you have contributed to that. And so I hold the legacy of this community in my heart as we move forward, and thank all of you who have supported us to this point. And I hope that you will continue to be active in our community. And you will be hearing more about ways that you can get involved in the teams that you mentioned, the care team. We're revamping that. We're re-looking at our prayer ministry. Our welcome team, we have a scheduled training for that, which is like, really? I need to be trained to be welcoming? There's some things to think about. And I think I want to invite us all to realize that at one point you were someone who came in here that didn't know anybody. And if someone hadn't reached out to you, and maybe they didn't, but you're still here, and that's what, we can hear that story as well. But those who were reached out to and supported, it makes all the difference. And so I'm excited to reinstate that program as well. I will tell you more about the vision later as we move on through the reports, but now I do want to invite Natalie Simons up, our Youth and Family Ministry Director. Come on up, and we've got a microphone here for you. Yeah, there's a mic on there.
Can I okay. Yeah. I'm Natalie, and as Trish said, I'm the Youth and Family Ministry Director. And I just wanted to first take a minute to thank all of our volunteers, because this program really relies on our volunteers. And so we have Sandy, who comes in once a week, and she shows up and she's like, okay, what are we doing today? And is totally willing to just do whatever. We also have Cindy and Joanne and Allie, who are all of our teachers, and they prepare during the week. They show up with love and kindness and just ready to meet the kids where they're at, and they're totally flexible. They're like, okay, well, this seems like this is gonna be what's happening today, and that's great, we're getting something out of it. And we have Lisa, who stepped in while I was on maternity leave, who showed up and just showed up 110% in so many different ways and in so many different aspects. And we have the families that come, and the kids, and they show up, and they just are excited, and the connections that they make, and just the laughter. It's incredible. Seeing the world through the eyes of a child is just it's a gift that, I just feel so blessed to experience. And we, standing in gratitude, welcomed Heidi Whitehead as our teen director person. So before I tell you what's been happening in the Children's Garden, I would like to invite Heidi to come tell us about the teens.
Hi, I'm Heidi, and I have been working with the YOU for the past few years, the high school program, and this year I'm back with the middle schoolers, the Uniteens, on a regular basis with the support of Jim Llewellyn and Megan Skulls. We have had a group of 5 youth who have been able to participate fairly regularly this year. And we have been really engaging and getting to know one another and sort of envisioning what we want from the program and how it will serve them and what they're experiencing right now. And doing some social activities outside of here just to get to know each other and have some fun. And some service. There's some sacred service that you've probably seen them on Christmas Eve helping out, or they're collecting food for Kaizen Food Rescue right now, which we will be helping at one of their food distribution sites. Today they... What's that? You may have heard. Yeah, you might have heard us this morning. We were going through a lot of the storage spaces and dividing things up into the Welcome Home donations and Jeffco Action Center donations. And so lots of service and energy around that. And really we're talking a lot about how we might grow and invite more people into our group. And so I have been reaching out with a lot of other Unity chapters and talking with their sponsors and their leadership and imagining and envisioning some new projects and sort of reimagining where we can actually serve teens in our community, because we recognize that there is a real need right now for teens to be supported. And so that is kind of going to look a lot of different ways, but mostly I think it's going to look like collaborating with other chapters and other New Thought groups so that we can have a larger group of teens to connect with. And we're working with Boulder right now to plan a Front Range rally for Uniteens and YOU combined at the end of the school year. And so that's kind of our next big project. And so thank you for supporting us and supporting Kaizen and all the ways that we will be asking for you to participate with what we're doing. Thank you.
So this annual meeting, we're reporting from July 2021 to now, and in that time we have continued to connect with families through weekly emails and also monthly phone calls and texts to the parents who are attending in person and who are not attending in person. We're also connecting with the kids every month through mailings, which include a letter with just some spiritual guidance stuff and a do-at-home activity or a craft supporting whatever power of the month it is. We also have received communication from churches in other states thanking us for the Facebook videos that we've been doing and that they're using those with their program also. We rearranged the physical space. Thank you to the help of many of you. We definitely could not have done it without you. And the kids are loving it. We keep adding to the room with our last addition was little baby pools full of pillows, and so they can go and sit in there and read and just have a comfy spot. And also just creating different areas that they can consciously connect with each other and build those relationships. We held events for families coming together. We did a barbecue, pizza party at Clement Park at the Splash Pad, which was a great time. They all enjoyed that. And then trunk or treat and the photos with Santa. We reached out to the larger community through continuing to support Frederick, our sponsor friend, who is now 18 years old. I know, and we're going to be supporting him until he's 25. So that is through Child Fund International. And then we also continue to partner with Child Rescue Foundation through projects that they do, such as the Pencil Box Project, and then the Teddy Bear and Blanket Drive. We're going to be starting another collection starting next Sunday for Easter baskets. So look for information about that upcoming. I have grown up here and I've worked here and my kids go here. And I love and appreciate Unity Spiritual Center Denver and this program. And in listening to and following my guidance, I submitted my resignation last week to David, Trish, and the council, and my last day will be March 13th. This is just a step on my own divine path, and I look forward to new beginnings for the Spiritual Center and for the Youth and Family Ministry program.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Heidi. Natalie, admire you that you're following the truth that you know, just as David is as well. We wish you well. Now, let me catch up with where we are on the script here. It's my turn, I guess, to give a little update as well. And David, I'm sorry, I'm turning pages too quickly here. Call on our senior minister and spiritual leader, David Howard, to give us a report.
Now I'm on. All right. I don't really have any prepared statements, but I do want to say to you, obviously you know that I will be leaving, and next Sunday will be my last Sunday here with you. And I know that it can be, hopefully it's not, but I know sometimes when things change dramatically, as they seem to be, with Doug resigning from the board and Natalie making her announcement about her resignation and me leaving, that I just want to assure you that none of that was coordinated. None of that really, one doesn't really have anything to do with the other. Doug had made his decision before I announced mine, and Natalie, again, is following her inner guidance and doing what was best for her. And what I want to say is that I want to assure you that you are in good hands. As you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. With your counsel, they're very capable and committed to this ministry, and I know those with Jessica and with Jim coming on the council, that there's lots of wonderful things in store for this ministry, and they're bringing their energy and insights and information. And I know from the years that the years that I have been here and had the privilege of working with all of you and the staff and this council, and the privilege I've had being your senior minister and working alongside Trish and Martha and Natalie and Jackie and Lisa, who Lisa will be stepping in temporarily, as some of you may know already. Lisa will be stepping in as our interim director, so the children are also still in good hands. But I trust that as I'm leaving, that things will continue, things will flourish, that you all get to decide that. Those of you in this room, those of you who may not be in this room, you get to decide what is next for this community. And it is your dedication and your commitment, your energy, your love, however that shows up for you, is what will ensure the continuation of the thriving of this ministry. And so I just invite you into knowing what is yours to do. To support Trish, to support Shireen as she comes into this new experience for her, to support Lisa and whoever might be coming into that position after, to support your council, because again, they cannot do it alone. As you know, a small group of people cannot do all that needs to be done here, as you've heard. And lastly, I will just say that I've only sat in that chair now for an hour and my back already hurts. So I think it's time to replace the chairs. So I love you all. You'll hear more from me and from Trish next week. But just know I love you, and my love and part of my heart stays here with you. Thank you.
What's happened. Now, I don't mean to alarm any of you as I take this role, but my notes with my visionary speech are somewhere in all of that. So, that's good. That's good, right? I see this opportunity that we are embarking on together as a call from the divine for me and for all of us. I have been here for 20 years in various and sundry roles. Oh my God. You are hired. Did you? And I wouldn't have been here if I didn't get something and feel like in some way I'm making a difference, which I struggled with for many years, doing weird jobs and not knowing how was I to make a difference. And it's taken me all these years to put it all together in a way that I can trust in myself and trust you. And just as you said this morning, I've realized just in your lesson about prayer that there was a lot of stuff I knew here, but I hadn't applied it to the totality of my life, particularly when it was challenging. I thought, I don't have it, I'm not good enough. No, that's when I needed to bring it in. And so I look forward to leading you all in knowing that and doing that. I know I will make mistakes. I probably already have this morning with the damn Zoom link. So I encourage you to support me and love me through that. Tell me when I don't hear you correctly. Tell me what is important to you. If we are to survive at all as a growing, thriving community, we will have to reach out in different and innovative ways. And I look forward to doing that while also taking good care of those of you who have spent years here, years of your time and your money and your investment, so that as you enter this phase of your life, you are also connected and honored. We currently hold a vision of a spiritually awakened world living oneness. I know that visions are just statements on the wall, but listen to that as we look into our world today, our vision, and we can rearrange it if we need to. But it's a powerful one, a vision of a spiritually awakened world living oneness. And that doesn't just happen, right? We have to take action in our own lives, healing what is broken in us or hurting in us, bringing that into our own families, our communities. And then we are well equipped to be a part of healing the world and to imagine a world where everyone knows their inherent worth, their inherent spiritual connection, regardless of how they pray or where they pray or if they pray, is a large call and one that I think is time. It's time for us to step into. And so how we do that is at this time inspired by our mission. These are the steps we can take individually and as a community to fulfill that vision. We inspire authentic connection with the divine self and others for our spiritual growth and healing, and so that we can then serve the world from our loving hearts and understanding of our oneness. So while it is no small task, I think Unity's philosophy and Unity's principles lend themselves perfectly to what our world is needing in many ways. And I look forward to working with you to find opportunities for how we can welcome people in who are hurting, who need support, and also figure out how we can move ourselves out more into the community to make those connections, to really live what we say we know, that we are all connected to each other and to all of creation. And so I thank you deeply for this opportunity. I know I step into a rich lineage of wonderful spiritual leaders. I wish this guy would forget his notes or stutter or do something so I didn't have to fill these big shoes, but I trust that I will be able to do it, and you will in a way that will be meaningful to you. So thank you all. CJ. Thank you.
Okay, we got one more, and as David said, his back's hurting, and probably others are as well. We won't be here too much longer. Rather than repeating a lot of things that have already been said by others, I'm going to make my talk a lot less long than it was going to be a while. As Nancy did say, that we did, instead of using some of the funds that were earmarked to replace the rooftop air conditioners and the remaining 2 boilers, we diverted those funds to improve our live streaming capabilities, Zoom and all these kinds of things, of cameras and all the equipment and software that's back there in the room with Elle. Elle, do you have a slide that shows things that happened in 1973? You're so fancy back there. Now, do you have the slide? Okay. Here are some of the things that happened back in 1973. So this is sort of a trip back down memory lane. You remember the Watergate scandal and Nixon, et cetera. Federal Express began their first service in 1973, and the first cell phone call was made. Airbags were first appearing in cars manufactured in 1973. All in the Family was the most popular TV show. And Unity Church installed 4 new rooftop air conditioning units and 2 boilers to heat everything but the sanctuary. And Trish Morris turned 3. And I was a mere lad of 34. Trish, I think you and I have aged more gracefully than have our air conditioners and whatnot. And to clarify just a little bit, Clay asked a question earlier about air conditioning. You'll remember that we did have a capital campaign in 2018, and we replaced the main boiler and the HVAC system, which is located kind of right underneath where we're standing. And we also had all of the duct work in this building, as well as in David's house. We had all of that professionally cleaned. But you may not know, but we have two other boilers, and they're in the they're in the room across from the ladies' restroom as you come through the south door. Those boilers are also vintage, if you will, coming in 1973. And like everything, as it gets older and older, it requires more maintenance. We did replace one of the rooftop air conditioners, excuse me, in 2017 at a cost of about $7,000. We have also had to replace 3 or 4 of the circulating pumps that spread the heat around, if you will, through our radiant heating on each side of the exterior walls of the sanctuary, and all of the other areas of the building other than the sanctuary. While the cost was in 2017 was around $7,000, or $8,000, I'm sorry. Today, due to inflation and due to demand and problems in getting parts and everything, that cost is going to be more like $10,000 to $12,000 each. We have also had to replace some of the parts connected with the old air conditioners, and some of them are not really supported anymore because of their age. So we will be talking about having a capital campaign to do this year what we had hoped to do 2 to 3 years ago. And our thinking is that we're going to go ahead and order the air conditioners because we don't know how much lead time. They're thinking 6 to 8 weeks in order to get the units here. And then we'll put them in the spring. And then in the fall, we'll replace the boilers and the circulating pumps and those kinds of things. So that's the end of the script. We're about to go off script, so watch out here. But before I forget it, I do want to ask all the members of the council to please huddle up here for a few minutes after we conclude this meeting, so that you can elect the officers for this ensuing year. And I would also ask all of you that have a proxy, if you have not already given it to Travis, would you please do so now? Okay. And Travis and I think Christina have microphones. So if there are any questions you would like to ask about anything while all of the council is present in the room, please raise your hand, and Travis or Christina will bring a microphone to you if you have a question. Clay, you have a question. Do you have a question?
I'm sorry because I thought a lot of this confusion was planned rather than real that's been going on all this time.
Well, you're an astute observer, Clay. We have had some problems with Zoom. We've had some problems with our microphones, but we've made it through. Do you have another question?
Yes. George Bullen used to play for our picnic up at Genesee every summer. And we danced up there and had potluck picnic and stuff. And I talked to his daughter as she left, and she said she remembered it and everything. And I was wondering, I was going to ask you if you might be interested in getting something started, because it usually takes a few months to get a day reserved up there and a day picked for here.
Let's talk after the meeting.
Turn it on.
Christina.
After the meeting, because I don't know what we're
Well, it was a picnic on a Sunday for the church members, or a Saturday up there, and we went up to Genesee. Do you know where Genesee is? Okay.
That occurred a number of years ago. We have had picnics in various parks in the greater Denver area around here. We've also had picnics in the street that's behind us here. So that's something we'll talk about more. Jim, did you have a comment or a question?
It is on. My only question is, will you entertain a motion to adjourn?
Momentarily. I want to make sure that if there are any other questions, that we give you the opportunity to ask them. So if there are other questions, raise your hand. If not, I will move that we adjourn. May I have a second? Second. All those in favor, please stand and amble out. Thank you for being here.
Just one, oh, shoot. Just one thing before you all leave. I want to honor and respect you as well, Doug, who have served 2 consecutive terms. Your leadership has been invaluable, so thank you very much.